Hello everyone and welcome back to Victoria 3. A ship is leaving port in Annapolis right now. And speaking about ports, we do need to focus quickly on our port production or port construction. So in the last episode, we had the foundation for our economy, right, with a bigger construction industry in general throughout the states. So we do have now construction industries in quite a few states available, speeding up our construction. However, it also requires more infrastructure. In one of those states, we have now a problem, and that is in Virginia. In Virginia, we do use now more infrastructure than we have available because of the new industry that we've built here. So quite a few iron mines, right? We do need a bit more infrastructure. Virginia, over here, how can we do this? Well, at one of these ports here, we have ports available. So you have this at coastal sites. So these states all have ports, and ports do increase infrastructure by 10 for each port. Right now we do lack around 4, so it will give us a nice tiny surplus of infrastructure. Not a lot, but we can do this. And yeah, let's build a port. However, with a port, we do consume clippers. Clippers is a ship type that we don't have really on the market. I mean, I think we're producing it. I mean, it's produced in shipyards. Do we produce clippers ourselves as well? Yes, we produce 137 in our shipyards, but not enough. We do need to boost that a tiny bit further. Nevertheless, I would like to go ahead with another port construction. It's going to be quite expensive and taking some time, right? 38 weeks is a long time, but we do need it to increase infrastructure in Virginia. Otherwise, in Virginia, what we don't have anymore is a full 100% American market access. And this definitely needs to be at 100%, because at 90%, it does not contribute enough anymore of its products to the American market. So we definitely need to boost this construction there quite a bit. Actually, we should probably push it up. I'm going to push it at least in front of the iron mines. So it's going to start then soon, construction of this port here. Very important. Another thing is the logging camps are being finished, as we can see. And this is also contributing again to my income, as my construction goods cost is going down, because we have more construction goods ourselves again for all that production. What I definitely do need to check out though is, so the clippers, we will need to produce a few more of them, right? We are already pretty negative. We do have some shipyards available. And let's just check this out. I do need to get to my shipyard production. Now I do need to find that real quick. I think it was here in the industry. There it is. Where do we have some shipyards? We do have them in Massachusetts. In Maine, we do have some shipyards. And that's it, right? And they're also being boosted over there quite a bit. But I should not try to focus too many shipyards into one location for all of that. And one is under construction now in Virginia. So we should stick to that, because we definitely don't want to build ports where we don't need the infrastructure, right? So I'm going to build it in Virginia, of course, to further boost our infrastructure here, because there's going to quite a few things happening to Virginia when it comes to industry. Getting that infrastructure up is always a very good thing. Another interesting thing is we have the movement restore the local police force. So because we have this law now intact, right, we have finally enabled the law in the last episode as well, the dedicated police force. And this is doing something very drastic to the southerners, to the southern planters. It is taking away their privileges. With the local police force, they had the ability themselves to be the police, right? They could do this, and they would get 20% Southern planters' political strength out of that. Now, the Southern planters are the ones that are pro-slavery, so we want to make them as weak as possible before we move with the anti-slavery movement, one of our primary goals. And the dedicated police force takes that political strength away from them completely. And since this law has been enacted now, they lose that strength. And also in the institutions, we're moving down to level 1 of the law enforcement right now. But I don't need to do this anymore, because we have the law enabled now. So I can cancel this one here safely. And we now have, as we can see at level 2, no political strength anymore for the Southerners, just negative 10% radicals from standard of living. And this we can keep. I'm not going to move this one up for now, because I probably cannot afford this one bureaucracy-wise. I would like to move the education up there one level to 30% education access, which is going to boost my literacy. And the higher the literacy, also the higher the standard of living, educated workforce, and also pro my laws that I want to get in the future. Once again, some Indians are being moved. Once again, we can decide if we want to spend money making them a safe journey. I'm not doing this because we cannot afford it anyway. We could afford it, right? I do have a lot of gold, but I'm not helping that because we will see quite a few of these events. So we're still in the process here. We have finished quite a lot of colonization again, right? So this territory here is growing once more towards the core countries of the Native Americans. They're still being deported all to the Indian territory over here. So this is where they're living right now. We have a population of 72,000. And when I look at the population itself, I can see that the main culture here is the Cherokee, right? So there's quite a few of them living in here. And how much we can actually see in the population tab for Oklahoma, it is 84% of Cherokee that do live here now. And then also Caddoan and Siouan. So there is basically no Europeans really living in Oklahoma at the moment. It's all Native Americans. Take that, for example, in Missouri. If we look at that, the Yankees are the primary ones and the Dixie, right? So Europeans. And in the Indian territory, we got 100% Indians, basically, or Native Americans. So we probably should provide them with some work at least, or something that makes them happier. We can also further look into the Cherokee. Every population has this, right? So it's the peasants primarily, and they have zero turmoil. So they really they're not that angry with us at the moment. They're discriminated though in our nation. They have no taboos. So some population have taboos like alcohol, for example. Other ones have certain affinities, like the British like tea. The Chinese have an opium addiction. So it might also be a bit stereotypical, but in that case, it gets the idea over, I think, that some populations consume goods in different ways, right? So any kind of population or every kind of population has different needs and strengths of what they want to achieve, right? So some of them, the Dixie, for example, they also have no taboos, really. They have also no obsession, really. So they're rather easy to please for now. They might develop this later. Alright, expensive government goods. Still the clippers, the iron, and the tools. And we also got higher tension now with more states. So there's also something brewing over here. The restore local police force that the Southerners want has a very medium support. Only the Southerners want that movement, so it's not going to be accepted, right? So there's nothing here. The only thing that we see is that radicalization goes up because the Southerners are being more radicalized. They're more angry with us, and it's definitely going to escalate further. Alright, we have finished some more wood, so we are positive again. Construction cost is further going down. This is that. The next iron mine is under construction then too. And I probably would like to push a bit more, right? Grain is out again. We are growing population-wise. We have a population of 16 million almost. Growing at 0.8% almost. And that means also more grain consumption. What I can also see is the iron is going down there, really. Or it's going up, actually. And with that, the price is going down. And I further would like to do this. So let's go ahead with a few more iron mines. We already have them here. I'm not going to have more here because it would strain the infrastructure even further. Right, in Connecticut, let's go with one more. And then in Montana, let's make 2 in Montana, 2 in Minnesota, and 2 in Wisconsin. So I'm spreading this basic industry as much as possible to not strain our infrastructure too much. Because it's pretty expensive to build ports and on railways. So this is going to be another primary challenge then. Another thing, that was off my slate now. Next thing is our interests. So right now, when we look globally, let's actually go into my interest menu. We can declare 2 more interests. If you declare interest in a strategic region, you can have some certain actions there. Like if I declare interest into Africa, in certain parts of Africa, I can colonize it, right? If I declare my interest here in Central America, I could, for example, conquer these states later on if I want to. And I want that because I know here is the Panama Canal. There's Panama. It doesn't have the Panama Canal yet. It has the option for it. And it would give me a nice 100 prestige out of that. And at some point, once I'm strong enough, my military, I want to really push this one as well. So I'm going to declare my interest into the Central American region. Right? There we have it. Now it's at 6. And then we probably also want to push it a bit into Africa because this is also interesting for Africa. Africa is still kind of like an unpainted map at the moment in a lot of areas, right? We got these here with a color. So these are definitely entities, states. But without the color, we can colonize. There is people living there, but they're decentralized powers. That means we can just put a colony there if we want to, right? So right now I think I cannot do this. Nope, we cannot colonize because we must have an interest in this area. Let's declare an interest into one of these. In what though? That is the primary thing. Let's just check it out where we have some good plantations. I know that dye is going to be pretty crucial for us. And we don't have a dye fertility ourselves in America, in the US. So dye is something. So that makes the Congo rather good for us. Coffee is here. Coffee is also something that we don't have ourselves. And there's also 40 coffee plantations available here. So unusable arable land, 41 would be possible here. Yeah, and in general there's coffee and dye here. And rubber would be another thing that we definitely would like to go for at some point. So I don't see any rubber here though, unfortunately. But still, it's the coffee and the cotton. So let's declare an interest into the Congo area, right? So we can declare interest into the region itself. And then all these smaller states within the region, we can then colonize or start colonizing. Can I do it right away? Not yet. Still needs to build up a bit. Alright, so that's that. And then also Central America there. We could declare interest one more time. The Great Plains are probably one of my interests. So let's go ahead and do this as well for the Great Plains. That's that. And we have 1,000 influence that I could use on improving relationships. We probably should get us some allies. When I look at that, we also have Great Britain, of course. It's going to be hard with them, though. I think there was a journal entry for Great Britain. It's coming up later, most likely. That we should get on friendly terms with them, but it's 100 years away. I think France, Austria, we might. I mean, they're disinterested into us. The French are cordial to us. The British are wary. Yeah, let's improve the relationship with France. So that's 300 influence that we pay, and with Great Britain, that would be another 300 influence. Why am I doing this? Because we are going to wage also some war against Mexico later on, right, for some territory, and against Canada. And it is less likely for these big forces to join the war then if they like us. So it is less likely for them to help the other ones. Because big nations usually help the smaller ones in wars. So if I declare war on Mexico, for example, we can also see that. So we believe these countries may join either side or remain neutral, Great Britain and France, for example. And if they like us, it's rather that they remain neutral. So they wouldn't help them at least. Right? They will not join our war because we are the aggressors usually. But they will not help the other side either. So that's France, Great Britain. These are the big ones. And we might also improve relation with Austria, not really, but with Spain. Because Spain will have a high interest into Cuba at some point. So I'm going with that for now. We'll just see how it turns out then. Alright, some more plantations have been finished, the logging camps. So the port is now under construction in Virginia. Very important. And then more iron mines that we have. It might also worth be doing another thing, and that is starting our first tool production, right? So tools is also something that is rather low at the moment, and tools are very important for any kind of construction. In construction, we want to get the costs down of construction. Let's check it out where we have the tool workshops available already. We have 5 in New York, and that's it. I certainly don't want to get more into New York. I want to get something into, for example, Michigan, where we're going to have a bigger steel production. We get lots of infrastructure in Michigan and in Illinois, right? So we don't need to boost that much infrastructure. So Illinois, perhaps the tool production, and in Michigan, the steel production. Something like that we could do. The thing is, Illinois is an incorporated state already. With that, it pays full taxes. Michigan is not. Michigan, we can incorporate for 30 bureaucracy. Let's do this. Because then it will pay taxes to us. And this is one of the primary reasons. And if we have industry in a state, the industry will pay taxes. And we want to get those taxes as well. So Illinois is incorporated. Let's go ahead and build us tool workshops here. We don't have that yet in Illinois. So it's going to be a new thing for this one entirely. Tool workshop, there it is. And it's going to be a nice predicted earning of 1.7 thousand. We don't have enough qualifications to fully staff this building. However, of course, with available jobs, people will move there to Illinois. Let's go ahead and start the tool workshop in Illinois. So it's probably going to be here then somewhere on this This tiny urban... we don't even have an urban center, right? So this is, I think, then Chicago. Yeah, I hope I'm not embarrassing myself here. This should be Chicago then later on, right? Yep. And we definitely want to grow these urban centers then. So bear in mind though, right? We are playing a historical game, and yes, it is very realistic, but we're not imitating history here. I'm not trying that. I'm not trying to be one-to-one to history. We're creating a smaller alternate history of US here. That means I could very well probably conquer the whole of Mexico if I want to, if I can later on. But right now, our goal is to get the economy up. Alright, tooling workshop. On its way. I just love how it's so simple, the map yet. And trust me, it's getting crazy here once we develop some cities. And also our first tech has been researched. Very good, the modern sewerage. This one gives me a nice construction boost. It also gives me a additional 0.05 infrastructure from the population for each 10,000 population that live in a state, which is actually pretty significant. That is that. It also, further down the road, allows us the steel-framed construction. Now for that, I also would like to show you something real quick. Construction. We have the construction sector that is working on iron frame buildings at the moment. So it's consuming tools, fabric, wood and iron, and it is having a 50+ construction for that. We want to eventually move towards the steel framed construction. Steel framed does give me 100 construction, so it's doubling my construction output, but it will require steel and glass. So we want to move eventually to the steel frame to boost our construction, and this was one of the steps, one of the many steps that we need until we get to the steel frame. But for now, that was very good. All right, so that's the sewerage there that we have, right? This tech here. All right, while choosing another tech, we have an uprising, a native uprising. So it's finally time. They are rebelling against us. Or they're not rebelling against us, they're fighting us for their freedom. The Grand Sioux are attacking. So what we can do here now, I think there's no diplomatic play. There is a diplomatic play, and it's 2 times actually. So there are 2 nations at the same time that are rebelling against us. Let's check it out. They have quite the war goals. They want to conquer Colorado, Wyoming, Montana, and so on. As you can see it, quite a lot. And the other ones probably, they want Nebraska and Kansas. Because they're not going to succeed at that, right? This one here, the Pawnee, don't even have military. They don't even have any battalions. The Great Sioux Nation has 2 at least, right? So let's mobilize our generals. Lucky us, we do have 3 generals. So I can say something. One with the 5 and Zachary Taylor with the 3. We are going to mobilize them, and both of them are going to defend the front. Now, this is a bit complicated about the military system. We're not fighting ourselves, right? We're rather just commanding. There's also no tactics involved, as we're not on the battlefield. We just strategize the war around it. So my generals that we have here now, they're mobilizing their fleet or their soldiers. It's going to take a while, as we can see. It's only 5 battalions, so it's very short, right, this mobilization, but it's still taking time. And then they're going to start move over there. So it's going to take 20 days and 8 days for this one here to arrive at the front with their battalions. And then they will stick here to the front, right? Because in here we do have the Great Sioux, and they want, of course, to defeat us. So they will need to break through our front, and we're going to prohibit that. So I'm going to move my generals here to the front. And why can I not do this for the upper one? Let's just check it out. We do have one more general available. Let's also mobilize this guy here, and he can move to the New York, Wyoming front. Right, so we want to have now people here. And by the way, this fella here needs to go up. Right, so as we can see, we got 8 potential battalions then up here and 3 down here. But on the southern front, we have no forces, enemy forces. On the northern front, we got 3 enemy forces. So there will be some fighting for sure. They're also mobilizing their fleet right now. Their soldiers. Right, we're still in the opening move. This is another thing that I probably should explain real quick. Is the diplomatic maneuver. When you go to war with someone, you start a diplomatic maneuver, and you have 3 phases. You have the opening phase, the escalation phase, and the war phase, the big one, right? The last phase. Right now we're in the escalation now. We had the opening. In the opening, you can kind of like find other people, allies, to join you. You can also switch around the war goals. In the escalation, I'm moving my soldiers over, and it's going to take a while now for the escalation here to get full. And in this phase, we could still back down. If we back down ourselves, we yield, and they would get the war goals. Something I certainly will not do. So annex Great Sioux Nation is of course our goal here, and we're going to do this. So I've got now the soldiers then ready. 5 or 8 up here actually, and 3 down here. I think that will be fine. And we're just waiting this out here now. In the meantime, let's go for another attack. It's a bit under pressure. If I say I don't want to pause the game, probably we go into production. Let's just check out what we could need here. This is over 28 months. Railways we have already researched with the basic one. I think the BASMA process is now good. This will open up the better technology for steel mills then later on. And it also leads to reinforced concrete that we need for our advanced construction. We could also unlock the nitroglycerine for mines to make them more productive, but it will also cost us casualties. So, anything below that is still crazy. Do we have something in the military one? Fieldworks is very good. A 10% army defense. Let's go for this for now, as we're going to have a lot of fighting against the Native Americans still. And this just gives me a flat out 10% army defense bonus. So I'm going with that. As we also can see, the relationships with France and Great Britain are increasing. So cordial now. Very good. With Spain, we still have a long way ahead of us for now. Very good. So the generals are still on their way to the front. There's not that much happening right now. It's just moving around. Slavery paid. That is also fine. Let's also quickly check out the out of the southern plantagenous. It's going up again a bit, even though they lost the police force. Alright, one thing that we could do is I could remove the consumption tax on services, as this costs me 200 authority. This will make us deep red though, right? But we are consuming our gold for now. I could raise the taxation level in total. This gives me 18,000 more in revenue. We're still not completely positive, but it's helping out. And what I can do with the authority, I can start suppressing the southerners. So you can have 2 actions with each of the interest groups. That is suppressing them or bolstering them, making them stronger or making them weaker. A suppressed interest group is less attractive for pops to support. Your base suppression ability is determined by your free speech, law, and interest groups cost authority. That is quite a lot of that too. 200. A bit more than 200? Ah, 200. It costs me. I would need a bit more authority. I can't get any more authority for now. But we're starting to suppress them, because those are the ones that are pro-slavery, and we want to abolishing that, of course, at some point. Alright, diplomatic play halfway through escalation. Oh, very good. Also, the engines of progress has been enacted, so negative 10% production technology cost, because the industrialists like us now a lot, so we have reached the next threshold with them. Let's check out the industrialists real quick though, I think. Yeah, happy. That's because what? They endorse some laws that we have. And... well, because they're getting more... yeah, because some laws we have. That's it though. And war has broken out. So escalation phase is over with the Pawnee. And I think also with the Great Sioux Nation. Alright, let's check it out. So down here we have no resistance really. It's 0. Right, so we're probably just going to advance to the front now. So we have 2 options here, as I said. So we have defend the front. So we're waiting for any kind of attack that's happening. And as we can see, there will not be an attack. So I can say advance the front. And they will now move in, right? So they will now start to move into the territory and take it over. I was looking over here. We have 8. And it doesn't look like they're attacking at the moment. It looks like they're just waiting still, so we're also going to wait. But since they are the attackers, they started, they need to move because they're losing morale. So we'll just see. Okay, as we can see down here, we're moving rather quickly without any resistance, right? So this has already been taken over. There's no battle here really. Usually you can see some battle there, but there's really nothing. I would have loved to have some units moving around, of course. That's of course not, unfortunately not happening. So they're now moving to the next battle. They're moving now into these regions here in the state, right? There it go. Next one taken over. And then it's this one and then this tiny one there. And once it's done, we win this one. And then we can move my surplus units up to the other front. I could advance, but advancement costs me 20% attrition risk. So we have a higher risk of losing soldiers. Oh, there is now someone moving in. Now they have started. Oh no, actually, that is my mistake. I'm sorry. We have Zachary. He's done down here in Pawnee. He moved up and he's still advancing the front, right? So he will now attack. I'm not calling him back. He's fighting now and he might be losing this one. You could also say advance with the second soldiers that we have and with the third one. We're now going full out there into war. All my soldiers move. There is some battle now against the Native Americans. I still wonder why we would lose this one though. We definitely have the better tech. Yeah, they're losing a lot more anyway, right? So we've lost 30. They've lost 90 already, lost 90. And 3 times the dead, 3 times the wounded. Even if they lose this battle here, they will not win the war because they are far, far inferior when it comes to tech. There you go. We have a higher kill rate. We have a higher army offense. And that is 45. They have none. They only have some defense rating there. And that should be an easy one. This one, Pawnee, has been taken over completely, so just waiting now. They're not going to help out, unfortunately, yet, my other ones. I'm not going to make peace yet. That would be bad. We're still having 11, right? We're probably not going to lose a battalion here. That one's lost, that battle there, but that doesn't mean anything. We didn't even lose morale there, I think. It was just a minor battle, really. And I think they're advancing now. And now it's 3-5. This one we should win. Yes, there you go. And now my army is a bit more composed, right? So a few more soldiers per battle as we move in. I don't think they have a general even. And there we took over the first territory. And I think we're just going to march through then with all our troops. Yeah, that is a very decisive win. So that's over. Their army has crumbled already. There's nothing anymore. They've got 2 garrison battalions, but they're very wounded and very low morale. So we are just going to take it over now. And as we can see, since we have several generals, right, different movements are... So up here we have a movement against this region there. And down here we have a movement. So they're taking over this area now and this area. And so it's rather fast. So this one was also taken over now. And the morale is already cut down by half. And it's further crumbling. And the other ones, they're close to giving up already. So this was a small uprising. Was not really that good for them anyway. And they're going to be deported then to the Indian territory. Right. Probably should give them some workforce then. Now there is already a peace proposal, but we're not going to accept this one because the peace proposal usually is not very good. It just says remain status quo, but of course we don't do that. We want to completely integrate them into the United States. Now, in Illinois, yep, the tool production should be started now. By the way, we are very good on the positive side now. Despite having no service taxation anymore. That's because my iron production is really ramping up. So we should be seeing that as well here. And I think, yeah, we are positive on iron already. And as we can see, also the price is going down. So that is one important thing. The other one was the tools production. For the tools, however, we will need wood and steel. Now, wood is also something that is positive. We have logging camps, right? And they're starting to work now. We still need one more thing, and that is steel. We have 9 steel surplus right now. That's not a lot. So the first tool workshop that we finish will consume all the steel that we had. I would also like to start now my steel production. We're doing this in Michigan. There it is, steel mill, right? And this one will consume then wood, coal and iron and produce steel out of that. So I think, yeah, we do need some coal as well for this one then. So another thing is my coal. Let's have a look at that. Coal mines, where we have some coal deposits and where we already have some coal. So in these states, we already have some coal. I think in Illinois, we would actually have a predicted positive income. Let's start with Illinois, having 2 coal mines here. Michigan's we cannot build coal, but that is fine. I would like to have it a bit closer to Ohio. We can build another one. Kentucky we build another one. This is very good here because they should... Wait a second. Ah! The Pawnee capitulated, so they're now integrated, right? This one here. Nebraska and American Colorado are now fully integrated. I mean, we still need to incorporate them with our bureaucracy, but they are now in the states. And we're still waiting for the Sioux Nation to do the same thing. The Sioux. I want to build the coal mines where it's worth it. So there we have it, right? So the Appalachian Mountains, they give us a nice one. So that's in West Virginia. So here where we have the mountain. West Virginia, Pennsylvania has it. And probably also Virginia here, where we have a bit more infrastructure now than before. Here in Pennsylvania we have 20. And then here. A lot of coal mines we're building in addition. We're going to need that for all the production. Now what's happening there? Come on, give up. And there it is, capitulation of the great Sioux Nation. And with that, we also have integrated them now into the United States. More are being moved into Oklahoma. And with that, we have some very important states available for the US. And that is with the Great Plains. These are going to be farming districts, farming states, where we can have a lot of production for wheat, for example. They also have, livestock ranches, which are very important for meat production, fabric production then as well. And some of them have some tobacco as well and cotton, which we're going to need in high quantities as well. So far so good. The Western expansion continues, and so is our economic expansion as well that we have now here. Stay tuned.